I didn't. Hi, Scarlett. You want to say hi to the internet?
Hi, Nina.
Hi, Scarlett.
Hello.
Do you want to hear them too?
Yes.
All right, say hi.
Hi.
Hi, Scarlett.
Hey, hello.
How you doing?
Oh, we're doing good. How are you?
I'm not a day.
Yeah?
This for my adult is.
Yeah.
Really?
All right, thank you. You want to go watch more Little Mermaid, Scarlett?
No, I didn't.
You want to sit with me?
Yeah.
All right, are you going to be quiet while Daddy talks? She's not.
Her little whispers killed me.
I love it.
I have... I have no idea what she was saying either.
That's great.
I could not understand a word.
Yeah, she's an acquired language. She was saying, "I am sitting with Daddy and I'm listening to you guys in my headphones."
Aww.
Cute. Hello, welcome to RPG Book Club, the podcast where we play a little bit of a video game and talk about how it makes us feel. I am David Bernard Hauk.
I am Sam Allman.
I'm Elias Sailor Eli Warren.
And I'm Maddie. Today we'll be discussing the fourth part of Dragon Quest V, Hand of the Heavenly Bride, up to getting married.
Yay.
Before we begin, how was everyone's week?
I don't really remember what happened this week. I've had a very uneventful week.
My week has generated a lot of controversy among the online community, but actually my week has been a commentary on corporations.
Oh,
I see.
I see what you did there.
Little deep
I
cut
think
there for you.
I think mine probably has too. Then
I'm great. E3 is cool. I'm trying to look for a place to live and I'm freaking out, but I'm probably going to be okay.
Oh, that's right. E3 happened. I'm super fucking excited about the Breath of the Wild sequel.
There's 10 billion video games.
I'm so excited for each and every one of the 10 billion video games. I'm excited for Animal Crossing.
Yes!
I'm excited for the new F-Zero game they announced. I'm excited for the new Advance Wars they announced.
Wait, what?
I'm excited for the new Star Fox they announced.
Oh, okay. you saved me from some furious Googling that was about to happen. I was like, I've been watching all the treehouses. Like, I should have seen.
And I'm excited for Half-Life 3.
Yay!
Finally.
I'm not.
Oh man, I should. If I had the skills and inclination to do this, I should make a GIF where it's when Koizumi snaps, but then the Advance Wars logo starts to disappear, and then the F-Zero logo starts to disappear, and a few more.
That's good.
Funny.
Someone's probably done that.
Probably.
Yeah. So, like, Half-Life 3 is wild because not only does Half-Life 2 end on a cliffhanger, but Half-Life 2 Episode 2 ends on a cliffhanger. So I think the only reason people give a shit about Half-Life 3 is because, like...
They want that resolved.
They just want that resolved.
Because it's a meme.
Like, now it's a meme. I think it became a meme because they weren't just... Like, because, like, Portal 2 doesn't end on a cliffhanger. Nobody's, like, clamoring for Portal 3 as much as... they are for Half-Life 3.
I would love a Portal 3.
I would eat a baby for Portal 3.
Valve doesn't make video
Well,
games.
you've got
They're too
one
busy
right
ruining
there.
the video game industry.
I'm sorry, you can edit out what I just said.
But yeah, it's good. I was putting.
What's up with you?
I'm good. Yesterday, I in one sitting got to the Water Temple in Ocarina of Time, and it was good. It was fun. I forgot how much I enjoy that game, and because like
It's breezy.
it's breezy, and I always like I stan Majora's Mask like hard, so I always like not put Ocarina of Time down in my head, but I'm always just like, yeah, but that's not the good one. Majora's Mask is the good one. But then I remember like, no, Ocarina of Time is actually really good too.
Ocarina of Time is fun. You know, like we were talking about earlier, I'm not super partial to the gameplay, and I'm bad at navigating in 3D environments, but I think that Majora's Mask is definitely the underrated one.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, people have really strong nostalgic ties to Ocarina, but I think like going back and playing Majora's Mask, the story is more interesting and the characters are more interesting.
We should do a 6-episode Majora's Mask pod game.
That'd be cool.
That versus Skyward Sword, I think, is the other one that has good plot, but I don't know if all of us have a Wii U right now to play Skyward Sword.
I certainly do not. Okay. I have a weird hot take that I've noticed in my life. Well, I don't know if it's actually a hot take, whatever. I've always felt, obviously nostalgia is a powerful thing, and everyone's got nostalgia for all sorts of things, but I've always felt that N64 nostalgia is for some reason just like unstoppable.
Yeah.
It's weird. And I say that as someone who doesn't have N64 nostalgia, so it's like, I don't know. I feel like kids who grew up with N64 have the least ability to assess anything objectively. For example, look at Banjo-Tooie's popularity.
Why are we starting this podcast with a fight?
No. I'm obviously just joking about that, but I do think that like most N64 kids think that like every single game on N64 is a timeless masterpiece, and every since has been a disappointment.
Yeah, and I got an...
And you don't get that from PS1 kids or Genesis kids or any or other thing. It's weird.
I got an N64 from someone when I was in high school, and so I wouldn't say I grew up with it because it was like 2001, so it was later into...
Yeah, you're a little...
Yeah, I was late as far as N64 children went. And so, like, I don't have the strong connection to N64 games that I do to Super Nintendo games.
Yeah. Yeah, so, like, in my... Like, I also think... I have held the belief for a long time that the N64 is the best console. But now, looking back, the N64 just happened to have 2 of the top 3 video games of all time on it. And because of that, I forgave everything else on it that sucked. And so it
was actually a pretty shitty
because it had Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie, 2 of the top 3 games. I'm kidding. That was just more fight. But because it had Mario and Ocarina of Time, it just feels like this unbeatable god machine. But then you're like, no, like Rogue Squadron is unplayable because your enemies show up as a single pixel. Like, this is bad. Like, everything on this is bad.
Console, also, Nintendo didn't think that a game console needed a sound chip.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's just, like, there's so many things about it that just are bad. It's similar to the Game Boy Advance. Like, we look back at the Game Boy Advance, we're like, wow, that's great. But all of us just played Pokemon and Golden Sun all day. Like, like the rest of the...
I had other games. I had Pokemon Pinball.
Yeah, it's like most of the Game Boy Advance library is bad. It just has some really, really good games on it. So that's all that we remember are those.
There's a lot of remakes on it, too. Like, all the Mario games got put on Game Boy Advance, and Final Fantasy games got put on Game Boy Advance.
And they were all worse.
Were worse.
Except for Super Mario
Advance. Because the Game Boy Advance is bad hardware, and its sound chip is awful.
And it only has 2 face buttons. So, like, I believe Street Fighter was ported to... Game Boy Advance, and I don't know how that worked.
Yeah.
Seriously, who was like, hey, let's make a console that's powerful enough to play Super Nintendo games, but don't put enough buttons to play Super Nintendo games?
We'll give it the L and R buttons, but we're not going to give it an X and a Y. That's just too much.
Ridiculous. Yeah. It's absurd.
Speaking of Game Boy Advance games, I think that it's weird that the 16-bit collection of Mana games do not include the 16-bit remake of Final Fantasy Adventure, and they went with the Game Boy. Like, you just would think, oh, let's put the 3 games that look alike on the same console, but they didn't, and it's weird.
I didn't know
I'm
that
glad
there was
personally, because I've always wanted to play the original.
I didn't know until the Nintendo Direct that there was a Final Fantasy game that was in the Secret of Mana series.
Yeah, the Final Fantasy Adventure is Secret of Mana 1, but
Gotcha.
And Final Fantasy Legend is Saga 1. They called him Final Fantasy because Final Fantasy was popular.
yeah. I think it's Mana's case. In Japan it was Seiken Densetsu, the Final Fantasy Adventure, but Saga I think is just Saga, and then we're like, it worked for Final Fantasy Adventure. Let's just call this Final Fantasy Legend. So
Imagine being someone who just, played Final Fantasy 4 and maybe played Final Fantasy 1, and you're like, ah, man, new Final Fantasy game on the Game Boy. Let's get this Final Fantasy Legend, and then it fucking kills you.
Final Fantasy Legend 1 is not so outrageously crazy. I would actually imagine that most kids who were normies who just played Final Fantasy, who picked up Final Fantasy Legend, it probably changed their life.
they are normies no more.
They're like, oh my god, is this what art feels like?
But yeah, other than that, I just I've sat around all week and I procrastinated real bad on playing this week, which is good because I then felt panicked to then beat everything we had planned this week, which then leads us to our first point of today, where we're only going till we get married and not where we said before, because this was a giant chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And I'm very glad we split it up, because I also have just been sitting around and procrastinating a lot.
yeah.
I've spent a lot of time for the last few weeks not wanting to do anything but be on my couch and watch Game Grumps, and I'm trying to dig myself out of that, but it's not been easy.
Couches are comfy and depression is comfy. And
I love couches.
And my cats
I'd love
love
to have
me.
one someday.
My cats love me and smother me.
Yeah.
So
cats plus couch plus depression equals not Dragon Quest V.
yeah, pretty much. Or any game.
True.
I will every now and then pop open Zelda Oracle of Seasons on my 3DS, or I will turn off YouTube long enough to play some Breath of the Wild, and that's about it. So let's get this party started. This Dragon Quest future marriage party.
binge.
Yes.
Yeah. So first question, because it happens fairly early, but it's not important to the plot, so I can jump it up here. What was everyone's high score on Whack of Slime or whatever?
I got like
I
1,000 something.
Mine was 2768, and I'm really proud of
Damn
it.
it.
I didn't play it.
Wow.
I forgot to take a screenshot of it, but I went on I only played once, but the game went on pretty long, so I think I had a pretty good score.
Yeah.
I investigated the Whack-A-Slime booth, and I think it's not called Whack-A-Slime. I think it's something that's
It's a better pun. Yeah.
But I was like, no, this is silly.
That's what it is.
Why does
Bruce the
Deborah
Ooze.
have this in her bedroom? What a silly person.
She's a real gamer girl.
She's a nerd. Turns out she's been a nerd the whole time, and she's got her own arcade cabinet.
We'll find out next week if
In her
Spiffle agrees with
fucking
that.
Yeah.
I mean, she comes from a rich family. She can drop $6,000 on an arcade
she's
cabinet.
spoiled and her dad's stupid rich. If I was spoiled and my dad was stupid rich, I would definitely have an arcade cabinet in my room.
Yeah, for sure. So this week when we start out, we head to a town, and I think it was called Scuttlebutt.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I wrote that down and was like, was that actually what it was called? And suddenly everyone's talking to us about girls and getting married, and I'm just like, you're all putting a lot of pressure on me. Please let me live my own life.
Yeah, this is. I think we've touched on this a little bit, but Dragon Quest being so like open-ended and exploratory, to make sure you get the thing, every NPC has to talk about the thing. Yeah, it's not like one person is like, oh hey, you should get a hook shot in Kakariko, and then nobody else is talking about that. Like every single person is like, I hear there's a hook shot in Kakariko. Really? I heard that there's a hook shot in Kakariko.
Well, I guess I better go somewhere else.
Isn't marriage just great?
Yeah.
And that shield.
Right?
So, and from talking around with people, we also learned that Nara, who is Mr. Biscotti's daughter, the nice one, she actually was at the Heavens Above Abbey as well. So we head south from Scuttlebutt to it's Monstro Ferrato. I called it Monster Ferrato last time, but it's Monstro. I'm really bad at these Dragon Quest names, apparently.
Yeah, it's okay. Most of them don't make sense, or they're way worse puns than this, so you won't ever forget it. So it's fine.
Great. So we get to the town, and a little doggo runs up to us. So
he's my best friend. I said he's my best friend.
So we stop the dog, and Nara actually comes out and thanks us for finding him. I didn't recognize her as Nara at first, but I should have, because she's the only one I've seen so far with blue hair.
Yeah, she's the one with blue hair.
So that's on me.
If this was on a PS1 remake, it would have cut to an anime scene of her like looking up at you and tucking her hair behind her ears or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but thankfully this remake, it keeps it in sprites the whole time, and like I appreciate sticking to the bit. As much as I love me a good anime insert, I love everything is just sprites in this game.
Yeah. So apparently everyone, quote unquote, the 3 young men who are eligible bachelors, and I say young in the loosest sense of the word, because one of them is like a fat old guy.
Yeah, one of them's the merchant sprite, and it's like, okay.
But they all go to Mr. Bugatti's mansion for some big announcement, and it turns out he's trying to marry off Nara. So why not? Why don't we do the same? So we head over.
I really love how you kind of just stumble into this. It's just like, okay, I guess. He's like, do you want to marry Nara? And you're like, all right.
Sure. Why not?
And I love that it's like, it doesn't give you the option. Like, as an adventurer, if I walk in and it's like, oh, whoever goes and gets these MacGuffins can marry my daughter and get the hero shield. And you were like, yeah, I'm just here for the shield. Like, I don't want to trap this girl into a marriage she's not into. Can I just have the shield? I'll get your MacGuffins if you want it. It's fine. I just need the shield, man.
Yeah. So we head on over to Mr. Lenny Briscoe's house and get in line. And thank you. That's my favorite one of this.
It's so good.
Deborah shows up. She runs down the stairs and tells us all to fuck off. So her dad tells her to get lost, because we're here for Nara, not her. And Deborah's like, ugh, it's not like I wanted to marry any of you anyway. And so we, let's see. Wow, I just, like, completely did not take any notes between here and when we... No. I messed up the way I worded my notes. That's it. Okay, so Mr. Briscoletti tells us that whoever finds a circle of fire and a circle of water, we will get to marry Nara. Mm-hmm. So I'm confused at this point, because I was like, I thought I was going to marry someone else, but here I am having to work to marry Nara, so I looked at a spoiler-free guide, and it's like, don't worry, no matter what, you're going to have to do this.
Yeah, see, that's why I was trying to give y'all that hint earlier of like, no, going on this quest is not marrying Nara. They give you the choice later.
I must have missed that. So my bad.
Oh yeah, I didn't want y'all to be worrying, so I was like, you don't have to poke around. You don't have to say no, I'm going to do a different quest. It's just like, because when the choice comes, the game's just like very explicit about it, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah, so I did skip a note because I totally forgot to write down that we had to do that quest. And then I skipped right to, we find the Circle of Fire and bring it to Bruce Coletti.
That's the next thing that happens. There's a volcano. It's a cool dungeon.
Yeah. It was neat.
That dungeon's actually, that dungeon was tough.
It was pretty hard.
I actually beat the boss and then party wiped on the way home. Well, I actually beat the boss with like 2 characters left, neither of which were my hero.
Oh, so you couldn't evac and zoom.
I was just
I
going to
couldn't
say.
evac, exactly. And actually, now that I think about it, I stumbled into the boss on accident without having, well, not on accident exactly, but I hadn't fully explored the dungeon. I never went back and fully explored the dungeon.
There was a healing spot.
Right before the boss.
Oh, that's right. Okay, this is supposed to really come at memorable moments, but I'll just share it now since we're here. Yeah, I remember now. I was really hurting at this dungeon, but I was like, I want to keep pressing on. I really want to fully explore it. So I get to a T intersection. You can go up or down, and they both lead to staircases. I went up
And fought the boss.
and again I was not doing too great, and I fight the boss, and it completely annihilates me, or not annihilates me, just like completely kicks my ass, almost kills the hell out of me. My monster, who I'd never used at this point in the game, pops out, and turns out that monster's awesome, and he manages to hold down the fort and win the battle. And then I'm like, well, I can't warp back. I guess I should try and trek back to the town. Hopefully I don't die. But you know what? I'm going to check that other staircase real quick. And it was a healing spot. I was like, God damn it. But it didn't revive anybody, so I still couldn't warp back to the town.
Great.
The boss of that dungeon totally owned me the first time. The second time, I tried using Fuddle on the boss, and it worked, and I was able to get through it using Fuddle and Dazzle on them.
Nice.
That's why I won, because one of my monsters was the one that has, like, sleep breath.
Oh, yeah, that's the small fry. I have one of
I
those.
hadn't used him before. He was in my reserve party,
He
and it
is-
turns out he was amazing, and it worked. Sleep breath worked almost every single turn, and that's how I managed to win the battle.
Yeah, he is so good. I've been keeping him in my party for Sweet Breath.
Yeah.
He's good as hell.
I, unfortunately, only have heavy hitters and no utility monsters still, and it's annoying. I mean, technically, my Slime Knight is a utility because he's a hero class, but like everything else, I'm just like, I would love a healer. I would love somebody with support spells, but I just have variations on punchy, punch.
Just to reiterate the pro tip, remember that monster joining your party RNG is based on level difference, partially. So if you see a really good heal slime and he doesn't join, you could try coming back later.
Yeah. Now that I have the ship,
If you feel like it.
the ship and zoom and everything, I might go back and walk through that Cure Slime Forest again.
Or even go online real quick and be like, hey, what's a good monster to get, you know?
Yeah. But as of right now, my best monster I have is Flambe, because that's I think they're just called flamethrowers, but they're humanoid and set on fire looking. And they use a whip, which is awesome, and they also have a free Kassizzle with their flame breath, which
Ooh, hell yeah.
does like
I love breath attacks.
it does like 55 damage to every character in the group, and it's dope. I love them so much, so much so that you get a full party of like actual characters here pretty soon, and I replaced one of them with Flambe because I'm like, nah, I need that breath attack, that sweet breath attack.
So once we get the Circle of Fire back, Briscoletti sends us off to find the Circle of Water. He gives us the use of his ship.
And
which,
the vaguest directions ever. He's like, it's going to be someplace surrounded by water, so like, here's a ship. Good luck, dude.
Here's your ship, I guess.
it's like, well, at least this is kind of linear, so it wasn't
Right.
too hard to find. But we stopped at a Crate and Barrel. I'm sorry, a town called Stock and Barrel. And it turns out Bianca's family's here.
So
or
if you
what's-
make a pun on a pun, does that cancel out the pun?
Yes, that's a double negative.
Okay.
So we stopped at Stock and Barrel because there's a lock.
yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's lock, stock, and barrel.
God damn it.
Yeah.
There's a lock in the river that we can't get past, so we stop at this town nearby and hope we'll figure it out.
And we go to a
I
crate and
respect that
barrel.
one. That's a good one. Also, you know, everyone in this game is white, so by default, it's a Cracker Barrel.
Beautiful. So yeah, it turns out Bianca and her family is here, or at least her dad. I recognized her from the back, like, immediately. and
she's got really good hair.
yeah. But she wouldn't talk to me. It was like she looks like she's praying or something. So I go find Whitey, and he's sick again. What a shock.
Poor sick man.
Yeah. And we find out that Bianca's mom actually passed away. So while we're talking with Whitey, Bianca comes home, and she's super happy to see us, and it's a really cute reunion.
So speaking of reuniting with Bianca, so when you see her from the back, I knew it was Bianca, and you go up to talk to her, and it's like, oh, she's deep in prayer. She doesn't notice you standing next to her. So then I stand behind her and get the same message. And I stand on the other side of her, get the same message. I stand on the other side of her mom's grave and try to talk to her, and I get the same message. And I'm just like, look at me.
Bianca.
Hey, lady.
So we talked to Whitey again, and he actually tells us that Bianca isn't his biological child, but he loves her so much, which is like really super sweet. Like he cares about her. I think he said something like more than he would if she was his own kid. And he asks us to take care of her. Which is like, oh, if I don't marry her, I'm gonna feel guilty.
Yep.
So,
they put Bianca over so hard in this chapter, it's not fair.
Yeah. So, we talk to Bianca, and she decides that she's gonna come on our adventure with us, because she's really excited to be in our party again.
And from here for the next hour or two, I smash that party chat button. Bianca is the best party member.
Yeah, and not only that, but during the dungeon where you get the water circle, Bianca will just randomly spout things out without hitting party chat. Like when you get to the waterfall, she's like, oh my gosh, this is so pretty. And it's really, really cute. So the water dungeon was much less frustrating than the fire dungeon.
It was stairs, really.
Yeah, it was kind of a hallway simulator for a good bit.
Also, it was beautiful.
It is
so
really
pretty.
beautiful.
The use of transparencies with with the different layers of water, where you got like the deep water that's blue, and the shallow water you can walk around in that's more green, and then you got like the just the super organic rock formations and the multi-layer, like the room with the waterfall is such a, even though it's a top-down camera angle, you can tell this is like a huge cavern.
Yeah.
You know? I love this dungeon.
Yeah. I love how they do the sparklies on the water, too. It looks really pretty.
It's so good.
So, we get the water circle and zoom our way back to Monsieur Ferrato. And Mr. Briscoletti says that, hey, you got the things, you get to marry my daughter. Which, great, I didn't want that, but thanks. Nara actually pipes up and says that,
that Bianca's in love.
I miswrote that. Nara says maybe we should marry Eli. That's not correct. Maybe we should marry Bianca, because it would be weird for me to marry myself.
It's not the weirdest thing we've done in this game, Eli.
I suppose that's true. We should all marry Eli. Everyone marry me.
Okay.
I love you all.
Well, someone's got to marry Keanu Reeves.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Because he's sad.
Yeah.
Well, I would also marry Keanu Reeves.
Yeah. Everybody.
Yeah. Keanu Reeves is part of everybody. So, Briscoletti is, like, actually really supportive of this, and says, well, why don't you take a night to think it over, and lets Bianca stay in his villa, which is really nice. So, we wake up in the middle of the night, and I immediately was like, well, I'm going to go talk to Bianca and see how she's doing.
I was expecting this to be like a last time for you to talk to Bianca and Nira and Deborah before the thing. Oh, we forgot to say that Deborah comes down and is like, marry me instead. And
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Everyone's like, yeah, okay. And then
She's
Maddie's
like, you're really tough and strong and mysterious.
yeah. It's wild. But I figured this would be like you go and you talk to them, and then this is like your last little bit to like have a sweet scene with each of them to then decide what you're doing. But no, the game wants you to marry Bianca, and only Bianca has stuff here. The other two are asleep, so it's like it felt so bad to choose not Bianca.
I
don't think Deborah's asleep. I think she just tells you to fuck off.
Maybe so.
Yeah.
So I actually wrote, like, you know, I immediately went to talk to Bianca. She says we'd be crazy not to marry Nara, and then guilt trips us. Oh, just kidding, but she does kind of guilt trip us about like, oh, I'll be fine on my own. She kind of sounded like my grandmother. And then I wrote, then we go talk to Nara, creeping in her bedroom because we have no sense of privacy. And then I crossed that out and said, never mind, she's sleeping, LOL. I talked to everyone else around town because I wasn't allowed to go back to my bedroom yet, apparently. They keep telling me who I should marry, and I'm like, it's my life, let me choose. Also, don't they get a say in it? God damn you people. Stay the hell out of my life and theirs. And this was cool. One guy I talked to actually suggested that I should go confess before I decide who to marry.
He's like, this is a really big thing. It'll change your whole life from here on. Are you paying attention? There are multiple endings to this game. You need to save right here to choose the different ones.
Save your game.
No, she's not breaking the fourth wall. She just knows it's important to go to confession.
Yeah, exactly.
So that you won't have anything on your mind, so that you can go into this with a clear mind. I thought it works.
Yeah.
It does work, but also
forgot
save.
to mention the music that plays during this is beautiful.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah, it is really nice.
Yeah, it's like a night-themed, slower version of the song that actually played during the at the Sailor Eli, which is interesting. That actually has popped up one more time since then. I forget which town had it, but yeah, it's like the nighttime version of it. It's so good.
I always liked slower nighttime remixes of normal game songs, like in Black and White when you go into the Pokemon Center at night and it's all slowed down. That's always nice. Or maybe it was Diamond Pearl Platinum
Then
or whatever.
in Xenoblade 2, the best song on the whole OST is the night version of the Praetorium theme. Like,
Yes.
that shit's like church to me. Like,
Oh yeah, that's a good track. I've heard that one.
yeah, it's so fucking good. I gush about it all the time. I've put it in the podcast twice during Xenogears.
So we talked to Briscoletti because he's still up, and he's a super good guy, and he says he'll take care of the wedding regardless of who we choose, whether it's one of his daughters or Bianca, which is like super awesome of him. I really appreciate this character.
Super rich of him.
Super
So
rich of him, yes.
You know how expensive it is to get married? Doing that willingly for
yeah.
someone else? Fuck that.
Yeah.
No, I love how he immediately fucly loves you.
Yeah.
Is the thing.
Yeah.
Right at the beginning when he first gives you the quest, he just like he's talking to you like very familiarly. And after you get the ring of water, after you get the ring of fire, he's already like, oh man, Maddie's like the best. Maddie fucking rules. I want Maddie to marry my daughters. They're the fucking coolest. Yeah, I don't know why he just is like, yeah, this person rocks, and I love him. And then he's just like, I'll do anything for you. You're like my own child.
Yeah, I was gonna say, he's like, you are my child. I have adopted you against your will. Congratulations.
And it goes back because we started the game on a boat that he lended Pancras because him and Pancras are so close. So it's like, oh, you're Pancras too. Like, I miss my friend. I'm going to spoil the shit out of you. Which is dope.
But he doesn't know that you're Pancras' kid. At no point does that come up, which is awesome. I never even thought about that.
It doesn't?
No, I don't think it does.
No.
It does not come
Wild.
up.
That makes him even better a person.
Nara talks.
Well,
when Nara comes
that's
in,
just such cool like fate.
when Nara comes in, she recognizes you as like kid. I think it comes up then. It might.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll have to replay the game. Let's just start over. We'll join us next week for episode
Whether
1.
he remembers you or whether it's a really, really cool like fate coincidence that he's not aware of, it's cool either way.
Yeah.
Either way.
It shows that Mr. Briscoletti is just a genuinely decent
Nice
guy.
guy,
Yeah.
This is false pro rich propaganda.
He'll be the last rich person we eat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So in the morning we head back to the mansion, and we're told to choose between Nara and Bianca. Oh, this is when Deborah shows up.
I thought so.
Yeah.
I
I
just
just
not till way at the end.
you come back to Monstro Ferrato like 70 times in like 1 minute, so I just mushed them all together in my head. This is where she shows up.
Deborah shows up at this point and is like, no, you're gonna marry me because I'm the best and you're cool and mysterious. So, let's see.
Briscoletti, when she says that, goes, "What on earth is all this bologna, Deborah?
Oh.
You're hardly a suitable match for Bash."
God damn it, that's one of my memorable moments.
Everything he says is a goddamn. He's the most Italian man.
So Deborah and Briscoletti argue for a bit, and I chose Bianca. She said, "You're choosing me? I'm not a lady like Nara." And I say yes, because I'm like, yes, I'm choosing you. And she goes, what, you saying I'm not a lady? And I'm just like, I already can't win.
That's
tricks
really
you.
funny.
That's so
I
good.
love that.
I love her.
So yeah, we agreed to marry her. And then Bianca and Nara go to the villa to prepare for the wedding, and then Deborah negs us for not choosing her.
Yeah. I love it.
I wrote today, I learned lady incels are a thing.
But I married Nara because y'all forced me to. I felt so bad.
We forced your hand.
But-
we were talking about who we want to marry, and I was like, well, I really don't remember playing this game at all. I would like to marry Bianca. And you were like, I don't care. I'll marry Nara.
I didn't know it would be like this, and I don't go back on my word.
I said I would marry Nira, and we would just have no one on Deborah if you wanted to, but you didn't take me up on it.
No,
so.
we had to. I didn't know what I was signing up for. I didn't know how guilty they would make me feel.
That's true. I should have been more clear about how bad you were gonna feel. Okay, so real quick, this is where I'm gonna lay this out. In the original game, hold on a second, actually. What's the guy's name who likes Nira?
Crispin.
Crispin.
Because he gets burned trying to get the fire ring.
Oh, his last name, his full name is actually Crispin Burns.
Wow.
So anyway, give me 1 second. What happens here? Anyway, so yeah, the game very clearly is wanting you to marry Bianca because A, it's the whole like childhood friend thing, and B, Crispin, there's this other guy who seems like a really great guy who really likes Nira, right? But where is it? Sorry, give me 1 more second. Oh, there it is. So in the original game, if you choose to marry Nira, the game doesn't make you happy about it.
Yikes.
What happens is if you marry Nira, Bianca basically never ends up finding someone else. She's kind of just sad and pines for you a little bit her whole life. And also Crispin falls into a deep depression and stops and never plays his lute again.
Wow.
Wow.
I think Crispin might even suffer an even worse fate than that. I just don't exactly remember, and I
The
can't
game
find it right
is
now.
mean.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody is happy. Yuji Horii is like, fuck you for not marrying Bianca. In this remake, though, it's a lot nicer. In this remake, if you pick Nira, no matter who you marry, everyone else ends up having a happy ending.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
better.
and
Bianca, as a way out to like make each ending not necessarily canon, but like make sense. Bianca talks about how like, oh no, we're just friends, we're real good friends, and once you pick Mira, she like means that, and that's not just deflecting because she likes you type thing. She's just like, oh cool, awesome, I'll handle the flowers and I'll go and help everybody get ready. And like she's like helping out her best friend get married, and it was like,
yeah, she's a really good person.
It was really sweet.
And even,
but
yeah. And even going on the quest, like the whole time you're going on the quest, she drops a couple lines here and there about like, oh, you're marrying Nira? Well, that's great. I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, everything turns out all right in this version of the game. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
How did marrying Deborah go?
Okay, so Deborah fucking rules. She's the funniest. She's so fucking funny. She's terrible, but I'm glad that I married her. Actually,
You're terrible, but you're hilarious. So I'm super glad I married you.
so let me. I'm gonna read a lot of Deborah lines real fast. I'm sorry. I have to. Let's see. Where is it? Okay, so when you first show up, first of all, yeah, Rodrigo says, "What on earth is all this baloney, Deborah? You're hardly a suitable match for Maddie." And Deborah goes, "Oh, poor Papa. You're really not in touch with the way young men think anymore, are you?" And then, did y'all try talking to anyone else during the whole "Who are you gonna marry" section?
Yes.
I did not.
So I role played this, and when I say role play this, I mean they gave me a very hard decision of who do you marry, and I immediately tried to leave.
Yes, I love this line.
Well, bye.
I'm like, well, time to run away. If you try to run away, the maid is blocking the exit, and she goes, "Don't be cheeky, Maddie. I might accept. Then you'd be in all kinds of trouble." Also, if you talk to Briscoletti, he goes, "This is even better." He goes, "Hot panini. You have feelings for me, Maddie? I like you too, but no, that's not an option. You will reconsider."
Oh my god, it's like Undertale.
Yep. If you talk to Deborah, she goes, first, also the game gives you like 5 chances to say no to Nira, or to Deborah. She goes, "It's so obvious it's me you've wanted to marry from the beginning. Go on, admit it." And you can say yes or no. If you say yes, she's like, "Yeah, get the fuck out." If you say no, she goes, "I know you're a bit lacking, but don't worry, I'll compensate for that. I'll keep you on the straight and narrow." Then Briscoletti pops in and he goes, "Are you sure you know what you're letting yourself? Are you certain?" Yes or no. The thing is, if you choose to marry Deborah, everybody plays it as you're like the nicest person in the world, and you're just doing Briscoletti and Deborah a solid because she's unmarriageable. Like, everyone is just like, "Wow, you're the kindest person in the world. You're obviously just doing this out of the goodness of your heart because you feel sorry for her."
That's related to one of my. It was going to be a memorable moment, but when you, if you talk to Mrs. Briscoletti when they send you off on the quest for the first time, she's like, "What do you mean? What do you mean? Don't we have an older daughter that should get married first? We couldn't possibly expect anyone to." That'd be far too much to expect of anyone.
Yeah, then Rodrigo says, "By the goddess, you are lion-hearted. I can't tell you what a worry Deborah has been to us. I'm most grateful to you." She's right there. "Well, let's get the preparations underway pronto before you have a change of heart."
We have to get you married right away, or else it's not gonna happen.
Yeah. I'm just gonna go through all the Deborah stuff real quick. I thought I took mostly Deborah screenshots.
Yeah, we're saving in like the next 5 minutes, so it's fine.
Yeah,
this is a real short episode.
We're not actually at the wedding yet, but when you're doing the wedding, she says, "Just make sure you get yourself together by the time I walk down the aisles. I need you to look stunned, not stewed."
Wow.
On the other hand, the rougher you look, the more dazzling I'll be. And then one of them I'll get to once we get to the actual wedding. I'll wait for a second on that one. And then I'll get to the other ones later. Every single line she says is hilarious.
Great. So our ladies go off to the villa and they prepare, except for if it's Deborah, she gives a shit and then goes upstairs. Oh yeah, I wrote. I thought you didn't want to get married, Debbie.
One thing, just since we're on Deborah, she reminded me so much of Lulu, and obviously that's kind of what they're going for with the whole thing. Like, oh, you might be a virgin, but don't worry, like I can make you a real man. Basically, is what she was saying. But when you don't pick her for me, she goes, "Huh? I always knew you were a puny little morsel. You can't handle the thought of a woman like me, can you?"
That was what I meant. What I was saying when she negs us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Okay. One more. Because I realized I missed a couple of them earlier. Darn it! I scrolled past it. Here it is. If you go up and talk to her, I think right when you first get the Ring of Fire quest, you go up and you talk to her, and she goes, "Who do you think you are? Is there a sign on my door that says Scruff Bags Welcome?"
Yes,
Is there
actually,
like a sign on my door that says "Wanted, everyone I hate, inquire within"?
Is that a strong bad?
Yes.
Also, at some point, it might be later, she does refer to stepping on you, and I was like, yeah.
Please, yes.
Yuji Horii is a creepy old pervert.
Yeah. Love it. You love to see it.
So, Briscoletti then sends us north to back to Stock and Barrel to get a veil, and I wrote in all caps, "Hope nothing bad happens," which it doesn't. Surprisingly, I expected something horrible to happen. It didn't. I appreciated that.
Yeah, it's.
Oh, and also, if you're not marrying Bianca, going back to Bianca's hometown to get the veil makes you feel even more sad.
Yep.
Bad about it.
I should have talked to her dad while I was there to see what.
Oh, I got screenshots of that.
Oh, I totally forgot to do that too.
He says, "Hello there, Maddie. Bianca not with you today? Getting ready for the wedding? Well. So you're getting wed to this Deborah then? I'm a bit disappointed, to be honest, but it can't be helped. Bianca's a lovely-looking girl anyway. She'll probably be beating him off with a stick before long. Ha ha ha."
Aw.
So.
Poor
Well,
boy.
that just makes the older version even more sad and pathetic.
Right.
So we go back to Stock and Barrel and get the veil from some dwarf, and then bring it back, and yay, nothing horrible happened. So we go into the...
Because I didn't know how much was left in the chapter, because we were originally going to play all the way to the end of the chapter, I was like, when's something horrible going to happen to time jump us? Like, something's going to happen, and it never did. I mean, it does later, in a big bad way, but not right now.
Yeah, there's just a nice little story where you get married and have a good time.
Yeah. Surprised.
One weird important plot point. It's not like it's that important, but it's just kind of funny. They kind of have a big deal out of it. Briscoletti's like, "I have decided we're going to get married on my beautiful boat. But oh god, it's really far away. How do we get there? It's dangerous. All these monsters." And I'm like, seriously, another dungeon? And then Harry's like, "Hey, I told them you have the amazing zoom spell. So how about you just zoom all of us there?"
Mm-hmm.
And
Wait.
you do it.
Getting married on a boat, you get married in the church.
Oh,
So-
there are different kinds of
Yeah, I got married on a boat.
weddings.
That's cool.
I guess you get married in the church if you marry Bianca, but if you marry one of his daughters, you go on the boat.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I kind of already... So Nira also gets married on the boat?
Yeah, on the boat.
Okay, so let's talk about the boat first,
Yeah,
I
the
guess,
boat's-
since it's not canon. Yeah, so you zoom everyone to his casino boat, which is way the fuck far away.
Yeah.
And... Well, maybe it's because Briscoletti's coming with you, maybe.
Yeah, 'cause he's been there.
But they kind of make a plot deal out of the fact that zooming everyone at the same time makes you really tired. So that actually happens twice before and after the wedding. It's like, you were tired, so you slept in, and oh, now that you just woke up and the wedding's happening right now.
Yeah.
But everyone gets it because they're like, yeah, I mean, we're kind of grateful to you for saving us all on transportation costs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you get married on the what later becomes your casino ship, or is it just your regular ship? Yeah, no, it's a casino ship, and it is a beautiful work of 3D environment construction. I love rotating that damn camera. And the wedding itself is beautiful. Like the procession of it, it's like it also does great camera movements during the cutscenes, like showing Deborah showing up, showing her walking up, people on either side of you clapping and stuff. Oh, and also it's decorative. It's not the same as if you go to the casino later. There's like more flowers everywhere. There's some fireworks at one point. It's like very tacky. But in like a beautiful way.
What I love about it is all of the boat workers come out to like line up the procession, but it's the casino boat, so they're all girls in their Playboy bunny outfits.
yeah. All the bunny girls are watching you get married.
It's good.
Okay, so
yeah. So tell me about this here church. What's up with getting married in a church?
Oh, yeah. So one of the things I noticed when we were getting ready for the church wedding was they kicked the priest out. And he's standing by the fountain, and you go talk to him, and he's like, they kicked me out of the church because of a wedding. I don't understand this. Anyway, do you want to confess?
That's funny.
So, of course, I saved. Yeah, we had the church wedding. It was very sweet. Like, people are sitting in the pews. I love the line that the priest in the church gives. I don't know why they had to get a different priest for this. I guess, like, a Mr. Briscoletti crony or something.
Well, Bianca's Catholic, so she has to have a Catholic priest.
Yeah, that's probably it. But he says... do you take Bianca to love and to cherish in sickness and in health for as long as you both shall be resurrected from death in the church?
Yes, I screenshot it. That's what I was talking about. Like, I know all of us have that in our memorable moments.
Fucking
so
love
good.
it.
Quick Deborah here. After you say, he asks Deborah, do you take Maddie, blah, 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 and Deborah responds with, what's it to do with you? I don't see why you're asking me all these questions. Just mind your own business and get on with it. Hurry up and get all your holy babble out of the way.
That's amazing.
I love her. Yeah, I also like that there's a yes/no option, and if you say no, the priest just repeats the same line over and over and over.
Like,
you can do this ad infinitum. Just hit no. Like,
I don't want to get married.
Yeah, no, I'm not ready. Technically, I'm only 16. It's only been 10 years since I was enslaved.
You could maybe that's the case, and things are different back in the past. But also, though, remember, time does go very quickly in this game.
Yeah, I don't know how far you played past this, Eli, but in the next 2 dungeons, 9 months passed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and also it's like, oh, we just left, because every time you travel, I like to think of it like anytime you travel on the world map, it's like, yeah, that trip took a couple days.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, considering the day-night cycle, it makes sense.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we had our church wedding, and it's really great. Bianca says, "Yeah, I do," when the priest asks her the question.
Another thing to make me feel really bad about Bianca is when you're leaving the aisle with Nira, she goes, "Congratulations, Bash. You too, Nira. I hope you'll be really happy together." And I'm just like, don't be so supportive. I broke your heart.
Oh, yeah, she's a sweetie in our wedding, and such that she hopes she'll make us happy.
Also, when you're leaving the church, you're like, walk down, and Mr. Bruce Coletti and Nira say something, then Harry and Maria say something, then some rando NPCs are like, wolf whistle in parentheses, that's a hot bride you got, or something like that.
Yeah, that's one hot bride you've got there, Eli. You treat her right.
Yeah, they say the same thing about Nira.
Oh, great. So we head back to the mansion after the wedding, and Briscoletti gives us the things that are in the chests. That I tried to steal from earlier, but they were locked, thankfully for him. And he gives us his ship, which is great.
Yay.
And one of the things in the chest is the shield that we need, which is lucky.
Yeah. What a coincidence.
A lot of NPCs actually were talking earlier about, like, oh, that's their special treasure. Whoever marries Nira is going to get the shield. So, like, it could potentially be inferred that you, the player, first talk to these NPCs, learn that the item that you want for your quest is in the town, because that's why you're at the town, and then you find out that you can get that item by marrying Mira, and that's why you go through the whole quest. But the way it plays out, it feels more like you just stumble into the town and you're like, yeah, okay, sure, I'll marry someone.
I mean, I mean,
look,
it's
a shield.
lucky. I mean, it's lucky because he just happens to decide to give you this family heirloom that you really needed, and we're going on a big quest to get. But then you fucked up the quest by marrying someone else.
You don't even ask somebody. You don't even ask him for it. He's just like, here you go.
Yeah.
So, Briscoletti then tells us we can go to Lodestar and take his ship over to Pontoon to go to his casino boat Ventuno for honeymoon, or we can go ahead and head on to Helmunoptera, sorry.
Actually, you missed the weird little bullshit fetch quest we have to do.
Yeah.
I saw in a spoiler-free guide that he said to go to
Maybe that's just for his daughters.
Yeah, because
Oh,
I
it is.
couldn't go into that place. I tried, and it was like, nope, the doors are shut fast.
Yeah, what the hell are you talking about?
So we basically just have
really
to.
weird extra little quest.
We basically just have to level up his daughters, and he's like, yeah, she's like, Nira even says like, I'm not good for anything. I'm basically going to be relying on you. Do you still want me to travel with you? And you're like, yeah, sure. So you go to talk to Briscoletti, and he says, where to go? He goes, what? Has your mind turned to macaroni? And and she's like, no, I want to travel with him. He's like, all right, to prove that you can, you need to walk over to this shrine over by the lock and tell me what color the pot is at the bottom. And so you walk your way over there and you fight a couple monsters, and she gets some levels up, and you look at the pot and it's blue. And you walk back, and you come back, and now she's 2 levels stronger, which is all she needed. And then Briscoletti's like, okay, cool, you can go.
I am guessing that didn't happen with Bianca because she was already leveled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
What a little cute little plot synergy. Yeah, because plot-wise, it's because he's like, my daughter's actually going to be... It's funny with Deborah. It doesn't come off as him being concerned for Deborah. It's more like, Deborah, you cannot go with Maddie on her adventure. You're going to be a total drag. Okay, fine. Prove that you can actually be useful by going on this quest first.
That's awesome. But yeah.
Also, he says, holy rigatoni.
So before saving for the week, I actually went and played on the casino boat for a while. I made some money at slots, and then I lost it all at poker.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And I got
don't
the
know
stuff
if we-
out of the treasure and tea. And
Can we go to the casino boat? Because he didn't mention, like, he mentioned it to you for a honeymoon, and he didn't mention it
No,
to
he
me.
totally does. You just missed it.
Okay.
Yeah. He says it.
Okay.
You just sail right over there. And in fact, it is, it's not, I guess it's not actually part of the plot. Like, I guess technically it's optional, but like, he says you should go there. And I think later people might even refer to like the honeymoon that you had on the casino boat.
Oh, well.
I mean,
When you marry Bianca, people also make a big deal out of telling you should go visit your childhood haunts. You should go visit old places now that you have
Yeah.
Bianca
I'm
with
sure-
you
I'm
again.
sure- I'm
which
sure
I
she
was
has
like,
so
I'm
much
not doing that.
dialogue in this place.
Oh, I did it.
Yeah, so you can tell us about it. I don't know if that fits better for today or next week, but yeah, definitely say those things.
But yeah, that is pretty much it. So we can go into memorable moments. Do you mind if I go first though? Because I have
Go for it.
I have a bunch, and I never go first.
Yeah, and
Go for it.
and I usually have a bunch too, and steal them all from you. So
Yes.
go ahead.
Yeah. So now you can steal it.
Excellent. So when we went to Scuttlebutt, there was someone. Let's see. Oh, did I not save it? Hold on. I have screenshots, and maybe it's further back. Oh, okay. So there's a woman you can talk to, and she says, "Now I don't mean to pry, but what's your opinion on women? Do you think that they should be all demure and unassuming and all that?" And so if you say yes, she says, "That's right. We women have more to offer than that now, don't we?" If you say no, she says, "I thought as much. I suppose I'd better sign up for a stint at the old Abbey like Nara did then." And I'm like, girl, don't listen to what some jerk man says, please.
Some random tall Gohan looking ass.
Also, if you say yes, she's like, "You're right. We have more offer than that, don't we?" And then the next line she says, she's like, "Although some girls take it a bit too far, like Deborah."
So there was another line when I got to the villa, and this woman says, "This is Mr. Briscoletti's villa. He doesn't get out here much, though. It's just that little bit too far away." And I'm like, "It's 5 feet from the mansion.
It's next door.
It's, like, does the guy just not like to walk a lot?"
That's so great.
He needs to get one of those little floaty chairs from Dune and just hover around on his gas thingy.
Yeah. There's an old man and woman in one of the shops, and if you go talk to the man, he's like, or no, the woman is like, "Oh no, marriage is great. You really should get married as soon as possible." And then you talk to the husband, and he's like, "No, don't get married. Marriage is a horrible lottery." Let's see. Oh, there's in Stock and Barrel, there's a priest who is apparently in training, and his dad is really upset about it for some reason.
Yeah, so there's not a chapel, but there's a guy that's like doing his priestly studies.
He's literally just like in his room, like he's living with his parents, pretending to be a priest, and he's like, "Okay, I got this.
Yeah.
Let me do the priest thing.
Let's go. Confess to me all of your sins, and I'm gonna do great at it." In Monstro Ferrato, I went into the bar, and there's a sign that says underage drinking is prohibited by law. So I think someone was a wee bit tipsy when they wrote that.
That's amazing.
And yeah, I had all this baloney as my screenshot because I'm like, this is the one time when he said something Italian and it made sense.
Right?
Like, it was the right word for that time. Oh, and then the final one, aside from the priest getting kicked out of the church before the wedding, was the kiss between Bianca and the hero. They just squished the sprites together like it's like two little Barbie dolls getting smashed up against each other.
Now kiss.
And I understand that, like, making a custom sprite for that would probably be,
but like not to spoil like the very next thing you'll do. Well, I don't know if it'll happen for Bianca, but it happens for Nira. Is she faints at one point, and it's like a 60 FPS, like a million different like frame sprite animation of her like hand up to her head, woozying over, falling down to the floor. I'm like, all of that, but you couldn't kiss the bride? Like,
wow.
I mean, Final Fantasy IV had a hug sprite.
A fantastic hug sprite. Yeah, where the two sprites became one, like in the Bible.
Yeah. Like in the Bible. But I have one from Stock and Barrel, which is famous for its hot springs. And so all of the NPCs in the town, except for the priest and Bianca, are just chilling in the hot springs. And so you go up there, and there's an old guy, and he's like, "Oh, Bianca, you're going off on an adventure. Well, you keep that pretty face of yours safe, darling. And then if you mash that party chat button," she goes, "I'm sure he means well deep down, but I wish you wouldn't call me darling." And I'm like, "That's right.
Yes.
Feminist wife."
That's awesome.
My alternate universe feminist wife. I also party chatted at some point with Bianca, and she goes, "You've really filled out in the muscles department. That's for sure. You look quite a lot like Pancras nowadays."
Yeah, at first she's like, "Man, you got hot and buff." Just like your dad.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
like,
okay, you just ruined it.
Completely.
Could you not?
Why do you have to bring up my dad? That's weird.
All right, and then one other one is because I think we brought up all the others. I'll do a quick look, but in this game there are mimics and there are canna boxes, and then there are earn expecteds.
Oh yes, I ran into one of those.
I don't think I ran into an urn expected.
I've been breaking every urn and barrel I can find. Of course I ran into one.
Yeah, it's probably because like when you're reading it fast, like R and N are similarly shaped, so your brain just reads unexpected sometimes, and so it's just like, wow, it turns out that urn was an unexpected, and I'm like, an unexpected what? But it's urn expected, which was like bad. But also at the wedding, I don't know if he does this for Bianca, but Harry is like, come on, Bash, don't be shy, give her a sloppy one. And because I tried to run away while it was like kiss the bride. Did you have to press the button to kiss your bride?
No.
Yes.
Wait, we did? I didn't notice.
Yeah. You have to.
You probably didn't notice. He says "kiss the bride," and the little what's it called? The little exclamation point shows up.
Oh yeah, you can walk during that point, and so I tried to run away, and Harry was like,
I roleplayed it too. I ran away. I tried to.
Get me out of here! I don't want to marry Debbie after all. She's
give her
awful.
a sloppy one.
One of mine is when you go to. I've got a more major one I want to share in a second, but a tiny one is when you go back to Stocking Barrel after deciding who you're going to marry, and you go back to get the veil. Mm-hmm. You talk to a random NPC and he just goes, well, you be looking mighty pleased with yourself. And I'm like, damn right I am.
It's so great. But
also, when you do the zoom, Rodrigo goes, love of linguini. Now this is al fresco.
Wow.
Bernard, what are yours?
I only have a couple that we didn't already hit. One of them is when you're walking around Stock and Barrel with Bianca, you can, like, of course, at any time you can go into the hot springs, and there are people chilling there. They're naked. Mm-hmm. If you talk to one of the women there, I forgot to take screenshots of this. I forget what exactly you talk about. But this is completely unrelated. With Bianca she says, "Ha, aren't you all grown up now?" And I'm like, is that a boner joke? Did this game just make a boner joke?
It didn't, because she said that to me in a dungeon, but that's perfect timing.
Okay. And the other one was when I was going back to our childhood places that we were at. I believe this was in Roundbeck. Talked to an old woman there who yells something at you, and then is like, "Oh, you're not my husband. I'm so sorry." And then when you party chat, Bianca's like, "Do you think I'll ever talk to you that way, Bernie?" Aww. And I said no, and she says, "Yeah, hopefully you'll just do as you're told without me needing to nag, eh?" And I was like, I love you so much.
Yeah.
She's great.
When you wake up after the wedding, Deborah says, well, she wakes you up in the morning, and she goes, well, I hope you enjoyed your little... Oh, at first she's like, hey, you slept so long, but I get it, you had to use Zoom. Then she goes, well, I hope you enjoyed your lie-in, because from now on, you'll be getting up before me every morning. You seem like the kind of man who's willing to do anything for me. Anything and everything I want. I expect to be treated like a princess. You'll have to attend to my every need. I won't accept anything less. Well, is that clear? Can I rely on you for absolutely everything? ... Hubby?
Oh!
I know. I was going to say yes, but then she said hubby. So I said no. And she's like... Excuse me, I don't think I heard you properly. And then she asks again, and she goes, can I rely on you to put my needs ahead of yours without compromise and to do absolutely everything I ask? And if you say yes, she goes, that's better. Next time I ask you a question, you'd be wise to agree straight away. It just saves time. And also, she says she's coming on your adventure with you, and she goes, if I stayed at home, how would I be able to tell you what to do? Wow. So I'm coming with you, darling. I'll be right by your side, watching every move you make. Okay? And then you hit yes, and she goes, chop, chop, you.
Wow.
Oh, also, again, Mr. Riscoletti says that she can't do anything. She's worthless. That's why I have to go on this little quest. And when you go on the world map and party chatter, she goes, it's true that I often had servants do things for me, but that was because I didn't want to do them, not because I wasn't able to do them. And then the final thing I want to mention is this game has I'm not going to use the word progressive exactly, but it's got a really cool, healthy view of marriage. Mm-hmm. there are 2 times when someone talks a lot about marriage, and first of all, it's largely ungendered. Like at the end, the priest isn't even like, I now pronounce you man and wife. He's just like, I now pronounce y'all married. It's very strange. It's, of course, you can only play as a dude. You can only marry a woman, but like still, but every time the game talks about marriage, it's done in a really cool way. Where is it? Here it is. If you find a book in a bookshelf, and the book's called Wholesome Matrimony, and here's your explanation of marriage. Life is long and hard. If one is alone, it can be easy to fall into despair. This is why one really must be wed. With a companion at one's side throughout one's life, happiness is doubled and worries are halved. For a long and joyous life, marriage is the only answer. And I'm like, that's a really nice way to explain marriage. And then that happens a few other times as well. I don't know. It's cool.
I like it.
Yeah, that's really nice.
And they never even be like, you need to get a wife. They're just like, you need to get a partner.
Yeah.
And there's one nun at one of the churches who says something. She specifically says, like,
oh, yeah.
Marriage is the holy union of 2 souls. The goddess will smile on any couple that truly loves each other, and there's no gender in it.
Nice.
And I like when there's not gender in things.
Yeah. Super, super cool. I don't know. It's like the game's doing like old-timey, medieval society, but like in a cute, winky kind of way, and sometimes it comes out really cool.
Yeah, I like it a lot. Yeah, what I played, so like, having played through the end of next week, there you go. Sorry, I'm having an ice cream party with Scarlett while we record. So like I haven't thought that this was a contender for the best game of all time, like everybody says, and like I've enjoyed it, of course, but like this week, it's like has kind of changed in my head, and I'm like, yeah, this is real good, and like it does everything correct. Like it doesn't necessarily have like the most epic this or any of that. It's just like, no, it's just like super solid, and nothing makes me angry in the game, and it's good, and I like it a lot.
Yeah, I felt really good playing this.
Also, personal opinion. Once your wife joins your party, she doesn't leave.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't care if one of the monsters is better. I'm like, no, you're in my party.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it is. Because also, like, Mira negged herself. She's like, yeah, I'm not going to be that useful. You're going to have to be protecting me. And she, like, hits, like, not necessarily a truck, but at least, like, a plus-size sedan. And, and like, she has a lot of good spells and everything. And I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, Bianca's got so much useful magic.
Yeah, it's good. I like this game. Anything else we want to talk about getting married? I have a lot of things I'm going to talk about next week. This next pit is probably one of my favorite things that has ever happened in a JRPG, but we can't talk about that yet. But anything else anybody wants to talk about?
No.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, no, I'm good. Just like 50 more things that Deborah says, but that, I can't just do that all day. No, yeah. Next week we're gonna play to the act break. Sam mentioned something important, which is that there is not a Luna that shows up. You have to go through a bunch of really dramatic cutscenes, and that's the act break, and then just save when all that shit is done.
Cool.
You'll know it.
It's
not subtle.
It's not subtle at all. But if you are waiting for a Luna to happen, you then start to get control, and that's not, oh, I have more to play. There's just no Luna. So safe.
Cool. Good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that will do it for the week. If you like what you hear, consider donating on our Ko-Fi at ko-fi.com/rpgbookclub. When you do, you can access the most recent post, which is the poll to vote on our next game, either Cosmic Star Heroine or Shadows of Adam. Both are Switch games. They're both indie games. They're both really, really cool. I think it's still tied. Chasen might have voted to break the tie, but it's super cool, and you should go and do that. But if you want to just chat with us, you can talk to us on Twitter at RPG Book Club, in our Discord, which now has 2 completely pointless Discord bots that I programmed, where you can pet Koromaru and ask Igus to cheer you up, and that's it. That's all they do so far, but it's great. Who would want anything else? And the link for that's in the description. And if you want to drop us a review on iTunes, that'll help other people find us so we can grow our family. And if now we're playing Legos, I guess. But, or just tell some of your friends to check us out. Even if they don't necessarily listen to podcasts, you can just add video game likers to the Discord, because we all like video games and we like cool people.
Yes.
But as always, I am Sam Allman.
I'm Elias Sailor Eli Warren.
I'm Maddie.
I'm David Bernard Halk.
Toodaloo.
Can you say bye, Scarlett?
Bye, dorks.
Can you say bye to the internet? Yeah, can you say bye-bye? Oh, she's not going to say bye-bye. That would have been great.